All right, back here with a quick take now on First Take. The Raptors beat the Cavs yesterday 93-89 behind 23-point performances from both Brandon Ingram and Scottie Barnes to tie their first-round series now at 2 games apiece. Perk, what is your biggest takeaway from the Raptors evening up the series now with the Cavs?
Well, say my Raptors, because I'm the only person that picked them to make the playoffs, and now they're making noise even in the series up against the Cavs. But the word is out about the Cleveland Cavaliers. All you have to do is get physical with them, bring the intensity because they're soft. That's the identity of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Led by Scottie Barnes, the Toronto Raptors have got confidence. RJ Barrett is balling. Brandon Ingram finally found his rhythm. This series is going to go 7 games.
Oh, boy. In the 2 games, by the way, that the Raptors have lost in this series, James Harden has more turnovers than field goals made. That is not good because it feels like more of the same from Donovan Mitchell and James Harden in the postseason. Let's go to the Knicks, though, now. They evened up their series with the Hawks at 2 games apiece on Saturday with a commanding 114-98 win. New York took control midway through the first quarter, maintained the lead for the rest of the game. Karl Anthony Towns had one of his best playoff games as a Knick, finishing with 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 dimes, becoming the 4th Knicks player to record a triple-double in a playoff game. Isn't this what everyone has been saying? Please, go through Cat, go through Cat. Now the question becomes, should Cat be the first option for the Knicks, or should it remain Jalen Brunson? Stephen A.
I'm going to say Jalen Brunson. I'm going to say Jalen Brunson. You know, Karl Anthony Towns has to do his thing, and I certainly don't disagree with Perk like that. But I don't believe that the Knicks can afford any drop-off, any kind of precipitous drop-off in terms of activity or production from Jalen Brunson, and they're going to go anywhere in these playoffs. I think that Jalen Brunson is that engine that stirs that cup. He's been that way throughout the season, throughout his career in New York City, and there's nothing about that needs to change. He may need to get Karl Anthony Towns more actively involved, and Karl Anthony Towns needs to be more active in concert with Jalen Brunson as opposed to at the expense of Jalen Brunson. I don't have any problem with somebody that's saying Karl Anthony Towns needs to do more and he needs to be a viable offensive option, which is not something that was happening during the regular season. But it certainly does not need to be at the expense of Jalen Brunson. That much I will say.
When you're trying to win a championship, that is what the Knicks are trying to do right now. You lose yourself in the team, and you do what's best for the team. Should Karl Anthony Towns be the first option for the Knicks offense? You damn right he should be. You want to know why? Because he's one of the most skilled bigs to ever play the game of basketball. He is the best big right now in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion, offensively. He's so versatile. We know about his shooting, but his ability to be able to take guys off the dribble, his ability to be able to take guys to the low block area, and now he showed off in Game 4 because of his passing ability. And I was in studio on the show with USA and Uche, and I said when they dropped Game 2, that it was going to be a blessing in disguise for the New York Knicks because now you could go to the film room and now you can hold yourself accountable and make the adjustments that need to be made. And they did that. Yes, they didn't do it too much in Game 3, but now here we are looking at Game 4. You feature Karl Anthony Towns more. You run the offense through him. Big Body Brunson is going to get his. But the Knicks end up winning Game 4 in great fashion. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Karl Anthony Towns is an emotional guy. Karl Anthony Towns is a guy that needs to feel love. When you embrace him and give him the opportunity to be himself and be great offensively, you're going to get the best version of Karl Anthony Towns defensively, and that's what we witnessed in Game 4. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't change nothing up heading into Game 5 in Madison Square Garden. Continue to feature Towns.
Now, when Cat's on the floor, the Knicks are 32 point. Go ahead, Stephen A.
Jalen Brunson's averaging 25 on 38.5% shooting from three-point range. Okay, so he's doing whatever he can do offensively. He could do a little bit better, but the bottom line is he's doing all right. The issue for him is defensively. When Jalen Brunson is guarding C.J. McCollum, do y'all know that C.J. McCollum is shooting 76.5% when guarded? by Jalen Brunson.
I do know that.
That's the real problem. That's the real problem. 76.5% when, I mean, damn, they keep you up at night. That's the kind of thing that should make you want to drop 50 because somebody giving it to you. So if Jalen Brunson, if we're going to point to something about Jalen Brunson, it's not about him needing to step back. It's not about Karl Anthony Towns needing to just step forward. Of course, Karl Anthony Towns shoot 57% from the field, 50% from three-point range, giving you 21 points a game in this series. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns is very important. Elevate him, no doubt about that. But you need to do it in concert with Jalen Brunson offensively. You just need to help Jalen Brunson out defensively. Because if you're talking about somebody subliminally or figuratively screaming for help on the defensive side of the ball, it is Jalen Brunson whenever he's in the vicinity of C.J. McCollum, who's been giving it to him.
Yeah, I mean, C.J. McCollum was still the leading scorer for the Hawks in this past game, but he just wasn't able to make that same kind of impact. Good news for the Knicks. Also, Karl Anthony Towns. The Knicks are nearly plus 30.
Season being out there on the basketball court, no Luka, no Austin Reeves, and Houston was desperate. They were on the brink of elimination, down 3-0. They had to do what they had to do to survive. All hands were on deck. And they got all up in him, and it was defending him and what have you. He was averaging about 19 shots, only took about 9 shots last night, 10 points, 9 assists. You understand? Only made 2 field goals. We know that's not LeBron James. That was a complete aberration. To me, Wednesday night, you'll see a level of normalcy towards LeBron James because it'll be 2 additional days of rest. He will be much, much more ready Wednesday than he was yesterday, and I don't make much of what happened in Game 4 to LeBron James at all.
Go ahead, Perk.
Now, S.A., I'm with you. This was more and all about the Rockets. Because, Shay, I live down here in H-Town in Houston, and the fan base and the media has been on the Rockets' asses like back pockets. You knew it was coming, S.A., but damn it, this was about the Rockets, and this was about the name on the front of the jerseys and the names on the back of the jerseys. Because no NBA player, no NBA organization wants to get swept. And what we saw last night, when we saw the Rockets get back to their identity, right? Starting on the defensive end, the perimeter play from Amen Thompson and Tari Eason, those guys locking in, taking Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard out of the game, right? Basically holding both of those guys to under 10 points apiece. And we saw them get out in transition. And then offensively, we saw the Rockets finally make shots, which has been their Achilles heel all season long and in this series, starting with Reed Shepherd. They shot 40% from the 3. So, yes, LeBron, he did look old last night. Rightfully so. He's 41 years of age. But past that, this was more about the Rockets and less about the Lakers.
Well, listen, and that's the whole thing. And listen, the fact of the matter is Houston should be all over the Rockets like back pockets. They've been atrocious. There's no excuse for them to be down 3-0 in this series. With or without KD, without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, you don't go down 3-0 to a Lakers team led by a 41-year-old in his 23rd season with a bunch of supplementary parts we barely talk about, when Luka and Austin Reeves are around. Luke Kennard deserves all the credit in the world for his performance in Game 1. We know he's a sniper. We know he's a big-time shooter. He's been around the league for a lot of years. He deserves credibility. I love me some Marcus Smart. The brother can play. I know what he did for Boston. I was always sad, Big Perk, that Boston won the title without him. If there was a Boston Celtics, if there was ever a Boston Celtic that deserved to be a champion, when they went on their run, it was a Marcus Smart because of the years and what he meant to the franchise. I've always felt that way. I've always had a lot of affection for Marcus Smart, who did whatever it took. You know what? He was a smaller, better offensive version of Tony Allen, who I was just hanging out with him and Zebo the other day, by the way, your boys. I was just hanging out with them the other day. The point is, on their podcast. But I'm just saying that, but Marcus Smart was that kind, that kind of rough rider that gave you all he had. And I view him as somebody who deserves to be a champion. So I'm not trying to throw any shade on anybody on the Los Angeles Lakers, but their role players at this particular point in time, led by a 41-year-old. world. How are you, the Houston Rockets, led by Ime Udoka, playing with Jabari Smith, Alperen Şengün, Amen Thompson and those brothers, and you down 3-0 to the Los Angeles Lakers, sans Luka and AR. That is disgraceful. And you had every right to call them out. The city of Houston had every right to call them out. And as far as I'm concerned, if they lose Wednesday night, they should still be called out. And even though KD is hurt, we all find ourselves looking at KD like, damn.